Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Eve Everett and this is my fourth video, and today is going to be a crash course in is it fake? As you can see, but we'll get to that in a minute, but as you can see I have a couple things from my barn attic adventure, and they're all good things. And there is another piece that I'm throwing in here that I just think is really cool. And actually, you might as well start there. This is a really cool brutalist mug. It's a pottery mug made in Iceland and it has lava in it. But it's a really cool brutalist piece. And even though it is damaged, I bought it for my personal collection because I like brutalist items, and you can Google that if you're not familiar with the term. But it's a really gorgeous piece, you know, very savage looking. I don't know, very, you know, it makes you think of rough seas and the seas crashing into the rocks. And yes, I know I'm sounding a bit corny, but anyway, I think you can catch my drift. On the bottom, it's marked. Whoops. And although again, it's got a crack on it, I bought it for me, so it didn't matter. Overpaid for it too, I might add. This quilt is actually from that barn attic that I was in, and like I said, I'll be going back to that attic. This is, I would say that this piece is not incredibly old, probably 1910s, 1920s. It's got some really nice prints. So it's a little damaged, so I'm either going to sell it as a cutter, or I'm going to extract the pieces that I think I can sell to designers in New York. I generally go up several times a year and show them prints that they're looking for, and I might take this with me first. Anyway, so that's cool. I switched into a more mid-century thing. I also, in that mess, was this really cool Florida compact. You know, it will need some cleaning. I'm not going to open it, but you get the idea. These can go for a decent amount of money. Compacts are always, I think, easy to do, and some of them can do extremely well, especially if you're lucky enough to find something that that's really interesting to, let's say, like a cat collector, or you know, someone who collects a particular type of compact. So keep an eye out for those. This is definitely a good piece. I love the name of it. It's hold on, Millville Atmospheric Fruit Jar. You know, it's hand blown. You know, it's got the metal screw down top with the glass lid still with it. It's in pretty good shape. I've seen these consistently sell on eBay for you know, the $115, $175 vicinity. When people don't know what they have, they price it lower and they sell. And when people know what they have, they price it where it should be and it sells. So I'm not really concerned. I'm not gonna get what I want for it. It just might sit for a short time until I do, which again never bothers me, because it makes more sense to wait out. You know, you create what's called what Scavenger Life calls a pipeline, and you know, over time you have your mix of things that sell fast, things that sell, you know, a month or two, things that sell anytime between several months to a year or a little more. I get a little antsy if I have something for more than a couple years, because I don't want to become, you know, quote unquote, that person who ends up having an intervention on a cable TV show. So I really try to be conscientious of that. And the final thing of the day is which is fake. This is called Flow Blue, and they're both very nice pieces. This is, oops, sorry about that. This is a serving dish of some sort, or perhaps you could use it on your vanity or as a tray. It's a very nice piece. Let's flip it over and take a look at it. So what do you think so far? Anything strike you as strange? No? Alright, well, let's look at the other one. Also Flow Blue. This is a different maker. There we go, that's better. And, how do you tell the difference? I think most of you will get this because it's really not that hard, and I think that it's better to actually start with something that's obvious before you get to the really difficult to detect pieces. Obviously, this is the fake one, and there are many ways you can tell. One of the main ways is if you look at the bowl and how the pattern of it runs, there's this discontinuity. Also, the pattern itself is not consistent with the type of patterns you would see when Flow Blue was made. This actually, to me, has more of a Japanese cherry blossom vibe to it, and the design is just not consistent with the period that Flow Blue was made. Now, what a lot of fakes or replicas try to do is they try to create this look through how they make the porcelain to kind of make it look a little older. Another thing they'll do is they'll play with the seal, and this is one of the seals for primarily one of the more popular Flow Blues. But as you can see, it's fairly poorly executed, and if you look at the handles, they're a little too well cut. And what I suggest you do is, if you really want to get into learning about distinguishing fakes from the real thing, is you really have to get hands-on and touch it, listen to it. It takes time to learn. It's well worth learning. You don't want to buy, for the most part, you don't want to buy something that's this was probably made in the 2000s, believe it or not. This piece is quite old, and as you can see, it's a deeper blue, although there are many shades of blue to Flow Blue. The continuity of the pattern is well executed. Disregarding the dust bunnies in it from being in that attic, it's very well made. It's very graceful in form to the extent that it can be. The bottom of it looks consistent with a much older piece. Yeah, I can't really get the mark to come in well. I apologize. But when you look at the two of these together, now that you know a little bit more about Flow Blue, you can see the difference, right? And this is actually an easier piece. the fake one. It can become very difficult, and that's why you really have to be hands-on and touch them and just have experience with them. But it's worthwhile, because a lot of people immediately think, this is way over my head, I don't want to get into this, it's too hard. Well, that would be a shame, because some flow glue can go for a great deal of money. Last year I saw a cup and a saucer go for over $300 at an auction house literally in the middle of nowhere. And if you look at sales on eBay, or if you go to First Dibs or some of these other sites where they're selling them retail, you'll see exactly what I mean. And a lot of people are collecting authentic flow blue again. It has a very nice, beautiful colonial revival type vibe to it. So, oh, and one more thing.